Joe Biden's border crisis continues to be an unmitigated disaster. Border agents encountered over 208,000 migrants in the month of August. That number is slightly down from July, but total encounters have soared since Biden took office. The situation is only getting worse. As of right now, there are approximately over 14,000 migrants under the International Bridge in Del Rio, Texas, waiting to be processed. That number just keeps going up, and a large majority of this group, they are Haitian migrants. And joining us now is former Secretary. We don't have Chad Wolf here. So, of course, as you can see here, 10,000 migrants waiting to be processed in Del Rio, Texas. The border crisis just keeps raging on here. We are some 7, 8, 9 months into the Biden administration, and more illegals keep flowing across this border. Now, the Washington Post reporting this weekend that the Biden administration is ramping up efforts to get these Haitians out of the country, to deport these flights. Deport these individuals, but obviously we are not sure what's going to happen here. And even the Democrat mayor of Del Rio, Texas, he's calling out Biden over this crisis. Let's take a listen to Mayor Bruno Lozano.
Something that really needs to be brought to light, that we need quick action from the administration. We need quick attention to this. We need a response in real time. And, a stark warning was delivered back in February when it released the video to the Biden administration that what you're seeing behind me was a threat then. And here it's coming into the worst case scenario.
The population of Del Rio is nearly 36,000. Now, some reports have nearly 15,000 people under that bridge right now. Let's also take a listen to Senator Ted Cruz. He visited this section earlier this week and called it a man-made crisis.
I'm here in Del Rio, Texas, September 16th. I'm underneath the bridge. Behind me, 10,503 people. This is a crisis that is unfolding. It's a man-made crisis. This is lawless, and it is inviting suffering. This needs to end.
And now joining us is former Secretary of Homeland Security, Chad Wolf. Chad, great to see you. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
So, Chad, what do you make of these thousands of migrants who are just waiting to get into the country? These images you see are so stunning, and Biden seems to be okay with it.
Well, it's just startling where we're at in this border crisis. Not only do you see those pictures under the International Bridge there in Del Rio, but you also see photos of thousands and thousands of migrants on the Mexican side of the border just walking across the river without any Mexican officials, any Mexican military, National Guard, or anyone else trying to stop that flow. And that's the difference. But, when we were serving in the Trump administration, we had Mexican officials on the phone daily, trying to help address the illegal migration. And for whatever reason, the Biden administration chooses not to do this, chooses not to implement sensible policies, proven policies that we know work, that we know stem the flow. And they're not interested at the end of the day. So I have to think that this is a plan. This is what they have designed the system to be, and it's very unfortunate.
I mean, Chad, what's it going to take to get this under control? You think about this porous border, you think about the terrorists, the situation that we're facing now, and terrorists possibly coming through. I mean, is that what it's going to take, a possible terrorist attack in this country to see Biden finally have security at our southern border?
Well, I certainly hope not. I mean, you continue to see, again, the pictures that you're showing now, thousands of folks. And what you would have thought that the amount of deaths by migrants has been just increasing tenfold over the last several months. And if you go back to 2019, when there was one death, you had the Democrats, you had the media, and you had others calling for a change in the Trump immigration policy. Now you have more deaths of migrants in deserts trying to cross, in CBP custody. You have more deaths in a 3-month period than you do in any 12-month period on record. So it's certainly not, unfortunately, these migrants dying because of this dangerous journey doesn't seem to have the Biden administration changing course. Unfortunately, it's going to take something more catastrophic. And it's heartbreaking because this is a crisis that was self-inflicted. They have the tools, they have the resources to stem the crisis, to address the crisis, and they simply aren't. They're simply choosing not to implement those policies.
And Secretary, you know, the state of Texas is dealing with a lot of this burden. The governor trying to implement a number of measures to try and minimize it. But is there anything more that you think the governors along our southern border can do? Obviously, Biden is not helping Kamala Harris. She's focusing on the root causes. Who knows where she is? Is there anything more that can be done to help this?
Well, I think Governor Abbott, Governor Ducey, and others along that border are doing what they can. Some of their power, some of their authorities are very limited. It's the federal government really enforces immigration law and removes individuals, deports individuals back to their home countries. You know, it's gotten so bad that CBP announced today, or perhaps last night, that they are closing the port of entry there at Del Rio. So they are closing the entry and exit of the country to legitimate trade and travel, because they simply can't fix and they can't address the illegal migration. So now we're seeing illegal migration impact and really alter legitimate trade and travel. And we're at a point where none of us, you know, that served in the Trump administration ever thought we would be. This is catastrophic. The border has been on fire for months and months and months. And the Biden administration continues to sit back and look at it and admire it. But they won't do and make the hard decisions to get it under control.
And I'm not sure if you heard this, but I mentioned earlier the Washington Post reporting today that the Biden administration is supposedly ramping up deportation flights for those that are coming in from Haiti. I'm not sure I buy that. Do you?
Well, we'll see at the end of the day if they can actually get those flights going back to Haiti. Look, this is something that they should have been doing from day one. It's what we did in the Trump administration, making sure that we were returning and repatriating individuals to their home countries. We had several flights a day to different countries around the world. They all but stopped that as they came into power at the beginning of this administration. So this is another knee-jerk reaction to a crisis that is out of control. They should have been doing all of these measures months and months ago, and it's not until it becomes an absolute crisis do they decide to actually take some enforcement measures. And it's, you know, the saying goes, it's too little too late. And it's going to take them quite some time to try to catch up and get this under control.
Yeah, you're right about that. You know, I want to turn to the Afghan refugees because just open borders for everybody right now. Earlier this week, Secretary Blinken admitted the majority of these refugees were not screened. And so far, the U.S. has already flagged 44 of them as potential security risks in the last 2 weeks. There have even been reports of some of these Afghan men bringing child brides with them.
Well, absolutely. This is what happens when you try to undergo some intense vetting and screening on a large population in a very short period of time. And again, it points out the chaotic nature, the unplanned nature of that Afghanistan evacuation. Had it been done properly, you can vet these individuals, but the vetting alone takes weeks and months, and in some cases, even years. And so when DHS said, well, we're going to expedite the vetting on thousands of individuals, obviously the light bulb went off in my head, which is to say the corners are going to be cut. Inevitably, they're going to be cut because the system is not designed to process and to screen and to vet that many individuals in such a short period of time. But again, it points to the unplanned nature of that evacuation. Again, self-inflicted crisis that didn't need to occur.
Yeah, it sure is. Secretary Chad Wolf, thank you so much for being here today.
All right, thank you.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.